And we are live. Hello,
Yes,
Idiots
yes.
on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. It's chaos in Jake's world. Let's address this up front. Jake just moved, and so all his
Yep.
equipment is scattered. He's everything's still packed in boxes, so it is chaos in his house right now. You're going to hear a lot of background noise, but I do want
Yes,
to say
YouTube
this.
people, I do not have a tripod, so it's kind of a weird angle.
Well, I also want to. We've been getting a lot of complaints about audio, especially at your end. Your mic goes echoey. Do you have a way to plug it directly into your computer? Like we got one this past week where he said, "I can't fucking listen anymore. Jake is too echoey." And I don't know. I don't know what it is from my end.
Echoing? No,
Yeah,
let
I
me
sent you a
try to
clip of
listen
it. I told
back,
you when it
but
happens. I sent you a
yeah.
clip and said, "This is what's going on."
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I've been moving, so
Yeah,
I have not had time to
this
listen to a
this
message.
was before the move, though. So I mean, this should be over the course of this next week. Whatever you got to do to hey, Rich, whatever you got to do to get
Well,
something.
hopefully we are out of that shitty apartment with its crappy Wi-Fi and stuff, so hopefully it's better now.
Well, I think it was a mic thing, but either way, to anyone that has complained justifiably about our audio, especially Jake's echo, I hopefully this will be the last week of severe shit problems.
Yep, yep. Sorry about that, people.
All right, thanks for your patience. All right, let's just jump right in. Um, let's go straight to New Orleans. An Army veteran's path to radicalization followed divorces, struggling businesses in Texas. Uh, Samshuddin Jabbar. I keep wanting to call him Jafar from Aladdin. Every time I hear Jabbar, I want to say Jafar from Aladdin. But either way, 42-year-old U.S. citizen who got inspired by ISIS because his life was going to shit. Hey, here's the thing. He'd been divorced 3 times, and he got angry and took it out on the world around him. You get divorced, it happens. One divorce, you get a mulligan, you start over, you meet someone new. You get divorced a second time, maybe you're making bad choices. I don't know. I'm not really one to judge. Third divorce, time to take a look in the mirror. It's not time to lash out at the world around you and drive a car through Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Maybe it's you bag of shit. I mean, he gets
Hang on,
radicalized like, I
we
hate the
haven't
world. I'm
interviewed
going to
his
show
wives.
everyone.
The wives could have been pretty bad, to be fair.
To be fair, but who made the choice to marry them? That's what I'm saying is on him. After the third one, the problem is you. You make bad choices and you quadruple down on bad choices by joining ISIS, even in spirit, even if you didn't sign any official papers, and saying that, oh, my wife's all left me and my business has all failed. I mean, the common denominator here is him. Maybe take yourself out at this point instead of like lashing out at the world around you. You know what's going to solve your problems? Look at that. Problem solved. All your ex-wives, all your failed businesses, right there.
That's right. Suck a dick. That's what he's saying. Suck a dick.
I didn't know this was the universal gesture for that.
Well, you clearly don't speak sign language.
I do not. Maybe I should learn it. What are your thoughts, Jake,
This
on this
I
this
didn't realize
fella?
he's been divorced 3 times. It just shows you how much shittier dudes can be uh, than women. Because my mom got divorced a bunch of times. She just got a bunch of cats. You know what I mean? She just got a bunch of cats. Joined like a weird Jesus freak cult at the end. You know, and that's it. This fucking guy joins ISIS and blows himself up, man. That's crazy. Or
My
no, he
dad,
rammed the car.
my dad joined Christian ISIS. He was never religious my whole life, and then when my mom left, he literally was like, "Oh, my wife didn't love me. I know who will, Jesus." And he went like not super hardcore, but he went into like men's prayer groups and that whole men need to be men. And he started down this path of he's got a girlfriend now, which is odd to say because they've been dating and living together for 20 plus years. But whenever we try and get the families together to get the grandkids to see grandpa and all that, I
Yeah.
send a 4-person email out. It comes from me. It goes to him, his girlfriend, and my wife, so everybody can coordinate. And he sends me messages. I think this is something the heads of the household should talk about. The men should talk about what we're doing and, present it to. I'm like, oh, well, you fuck off. So I get it. Getting dumped can be damaging, but at some point you got to grow the fuck up.
That's true, man. Luckily, he only got divorced the once. I mean, if he would have done it 2 more times, he'd be trying to take people out.
He'd be doing something in the name of Jesus, not Allah. So that's the difference between the Christian freaks and ISIS.
There you
This
go.
guy.
There you go. He'd be blowing up his Tesla truck.
You got that guy. I just read a thing. I didn't send it to you, but that guy, the headline, and I clicked the story, it said his act was meant to send a message, to be a quote, a wake up call. I got bad news for him. Nobody's going to remember in a week. Is like the news cycle, you know how many stories I had to scroll past when I go to an aggregate site. I don't go to like CNN or I scrolled past Hugh Jackman not going to Golden Globes, another Blake Lively story, Aubrey Plaza's husband, and then I got to Cybertruck guy says this is a wake up call. It's already down, it used to be page 7, 8 in the newspaper. Now I had to scroll past 12, 13, 14 pop culture stories before getting to the guy giving his wake up call. So, yeah, I know you made a dramatic statement. You're going to be forgotten.
Now, that's kind of interesting, though. Did he actually intend to kill people? I'm wondering.
That one, I don't know if I've seen in every story. He killed himself. Like he didn't want to blow up with the truck. He took himself. See, this this guy actually, I want to praise him. I do want to praise him, kind of, because I guess he did try and set off an explosive, but he took himself out first. He didn't run a Ford F-150 down Bourbon Street. He packed a Cybertruck full of fireworks and killed himself and blew that up. And good on him for you know not doing a Timothy McVeigh and trying to take out an entire hotel. I mean, he had to
Right, but
know.
that's the thing is he might have been trying to do that. I don't know if he was actually if he was intending just to basically blow his own truck up and that's it, or if he's trying to take people out with him. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got no matter how crazy you are, you have to understand the difference between um, big explosives and fireworks. Did he think the fireworks would set the Tesla battery off and start a impossible to
Yeah,
put out
I have a
fire?
crying 2-year-old here, and it's
That
wildly
happens.
distracting.
Nah, it happens. 2-year-olds cry. It's what they do.
I'll tell you, he keeps this up. I'm gonna buy a Tesla truck and blow myself up in it. I'll tell you that right now.
2-year-olds get you to that point. Are you going to have a private room at some point in this new place? You said it's bigger.
I thought I had a private room. Now that's not the case though.
Yeah, 2-year-olds don't respect privacy.
No, 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 no. It's still a new apartment, same old nightmare, I guess. Uh,
Yep, that will be the case. But
anyway, if you see an exploded Tesla truck with my charred remains in it, you will know the reason why. You will know the reason why.
yes, yes, yes.
Well, the bigger question is going to be how the fuck did Jake afford a Tesla truck? Jesus Christ.
I know the. Did he? They both rented it. They both rented it because the big news was they used the same app to rent the Tesla and the Ford. So is there a connection? Did they know each other? Was this coordinated because they used the same app? So you can rent a Tesla truck and drive around and have people give you the finger and say, "Look at that douche in his ugly Tesla truck." Before you blow
Wait,
yourself
aren't
up.
those things like 120 grand? That's got to be expensive to rent, man.
Well, I mean, someone's going to rent it because someone wants to. Influencers will rent it and take pictures to show that they're successful. They do that with private planes. There's a company that rents the interior, a fake interior of a private plane, so influencers can go sit it and pretend and take pictures like, on my way to Maui, on my way to Bali, on my way
Yeah.
to, shit like that.
Well, I did think a Tesla truck was an interesting choice in terms of suicide. You know, a car bomb, right? Because those things are bulletproof, right?
Well, that was Elon's tweet. He said, "Nice try blowing yourself up. You chose the wrong truck because it contained the blast."
Well, right,
Um,
exactly. So I'm like, that leads me to further believe that this guy was just trying to kill himself and no one else. I mean, the guy was even special forces, so it's like, if no one else, you'd think he would be smart enough to realize, like, oh, this thing isn't going to turn into shrapnel. It's
Right.
just be me blowing myself up in a mostly contained metal tube.
Yeah, I mean, because he didn't like if you're going to do something, we've seen it in the past. I'm not saying anything new. Broken glass and nails, projectiles. When you blow something up, you want to make sure that it shoots shit everywhere. I pulled it up. Cybertruck started at 119,000. Price cut to 99,000. It is now down to 79,000, according to Forbes.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
not sure.
I don't see a ton of now. Granted, I'm in New York, but
Right.
I mean, it's a supply and demand thing. If people ain't buying those things, they're going to get cheaper. So
Well,
I
there,
don't.
I live in a town of 20,000, and there are two here. Two douchebags said, "I want that. That's my small penis status symbol." So if you have two for every 20,000, if that's a sort of bellwether, I'm just making it up. But yeah,
I mean, forget about the man's politics. Those things are ugly. They look like the fucking RoboCop cars. If you got 100 grand to spend, or now even 79, I mean,
80.
get some nice shit, dude. You get a
Yeah.
really good car for that.
Here's what I this is just a personal thing for me that I don't understand why we are pushing electric cars so hard when hybrids have been around for a while and they work really well. Instead of pushing all electric where you have to pull over and charge for 30 minutes if you're doing a long drive cross country like you and I drive for a living. I drove back from, Janesville, Wisconsin last night. I had a gig. Um I don't want to pull over for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, charge my car. But a hybrid, yeah, you run on the battery sometimes, you get like 50, 60 miles a gallon in a Prius now. Why are
Yeah,
we not pushing those?
yeah, hybrids are the move, man. I will say, eventually, I think electric cars may get to where they need to be. But yeah, right now, charging's the issue. Um, we almost rented one before we had a car. We rented something on Christmas, and the guy was like, "Hey, it's an electric vehicle," and I'm like, "You mean hybrid, right?" And he's like, "No, it's an electric vehicle." I said, "Well, we're driving 6 hours into Pennsylvania and back. Is it going to make it on one charge?" He said, "If you're driving 6 hours, you're probably going to have to pull over and charge it twice." So that means not only are we waiting for a half hour for it to charge each time, but we're hoping to get lucky enough to find a gas station in the middle of rural Pennsylvania that happens to have one of those before we run out of run
Yeah.
out of man. And it's just they I now they could get where they need to get, man. Like, look, what if down the road every gas station does have these things? It does get faster to charge. Look at the iPhones and how quick they charge now with those Thunder drives. You know what I mean? So the technology could get there. The technology of electric vehicles, look what that has done in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
if it keeps going, maybe it'll be there. It's just not there now.
I just read an article this morning. Again, didn't send it to you. I was just scrolling, waiting. Proton batteries are the next. Like they're working on, and the article was they think they're getting really close to replacing lithium ion batteries with proton batteries. So everything changes. We got the Sparkmeister truck driver. I'm driving around the Beltway in DC, heading over to the Eastern Shore, and he just saw one. He just saw a Tesla Cybertruck. So I'm more amused by the fact that you are streaming us and driving at the same time.
Hell yeah, dude. Don't let the man tell you that you can't comment on YouTube live streams and drive at the same time. I don't think the Constitution said you couldn't do that. Don't let big government fucking keep you down.
That's right. And if it was in the Constitution, we'd make an amendment to say it was okay.
That's right. That's right. They were bad with technology. They were old men with fucking crazy high knee socks and goofy wigs.
All right. Next story. University of Iowa announces plans to close Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies Department. Iowa's State Board of Regents recently approved recommendations to scale back DEI initiatives.
They're closing
Well,
women's
that's
too. Well, I thought all this anti-trans stuff was to protect women. What are we doing here? You mean there's other purposes for this?
Well, here's when you get into the story. This is why it's so tragic that this is happening because well, I didn't Google. Let me before I get to the tragedy. Um, uh, the University of Iowa currently has. Oh no, this is a updated. Well, roughly 33,000 students. 33,000 people attend the University of Iowa. The Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies Department, as it's closing, had fewer than 60 students combined. I mean, Jesus Christ. Why do you have to make a headline that says we're closing this department, we're scaling back DEI? Nobody's interested in it. Nobody wants a sexuality study degree because you can't get hired for shit except to try and, become a professor teaching sexuality studies.
No, I did meet somebody years ago when I still lived in Iowa City who that was her major, and I was like, "What the hell? What job do you get that? Is that? I mean, like, is it just like, hey, that's not what you call them? Like, that's what your job is? Like, what do
You
you?
just go around correcting people.
Yeah, I mean, HR. Well, maybe HR. Maybe HR. I stand corrected.
Maybe, but I don't really know what HR does except field complaints and then usually ignore them, right? Or do they get all pissy about things?
They ignore them unless they were a gender studies major. Then they
Then
make
they get busy. It's
PowerPoint.
like, I have a task at hand.
Yeah, so I don't know who like goes into college going like HR is just one of those jobs you kind of fall into. I feel like I don't know
Well,
in college sitting there going, I want to be the person that makes people fill out forms and watch PowerPoint presentations on harassment in the workplace.
our buddy Mike Lucas, not the one that was on our podcast, but the one you actually thought was the one that was on our podcast,
Sure.
actually, Iowa Mike Lucas, he fell into HR. He was an engineer for 20 goddamn years, and he just sort of like got tired of engineering and slid into HR. He's like, this is easier, and less people complain. He said because you work up a draft of an engineering project, and then someone bitches and wants changes. Here, it's just someone
Right.
like, I don't like what was had happened to me in the lunchroom. I'll file a report.
You do your job perfectly as an engineer for 20 years, no one complains. Then one goddamn building falls down, and holy shit, you'd think the sky was falling, not just the building that I designed.
Well,
I
according to a quote here, students in this major would have been able to connect their individual experiences and ideas to larger social contexts. This would prepare them well for potential careers or graduate work in cultural studies and related fields through highly adaptable skills like analytical thinking, effective communication, and research. Really? I don't think effective communication. I don't think saying "excuse me," it's he, his, hers. That's not effective communication. That's nagging. That's just
I don't
nagging.
understand the purpose of getting rid of it though either. You know what I mean? Like if there's people that want to take the class,
Nobody
fucking
wants to take the class. Like I said, there are 33,000 students and 60 of them. 60.
well, okay,
That's a
that
failing course.
now that's a good point. Because that article made it seem like, oh, this has something to do with the government, or this is you know
Well,
what I
it
mean? Like,
does. They're the ones. The board of regents is saying, "Hey, we want less DEI," but the thing is that it's not popular anyway. So you get this big because I pulled it from Fox News. So of course they're saying, "Yeah, we're winning the culture war."
but that's what
When
I'm saying. If there's only 60 people taking the class, not having it as a major, but like taking the class in general.
I
Uh,
don't know what class they talked about losing the the department. So there are only 60 students that interested in that department. 60 combined, fewer than 60 combined. And they're
well,
going to
right.
create.
So college is a business.
Yeah.
If there's not a lot of people buying this new type of soft drink, you fucking get it off the shelves, man. It's got nothing to do with we're tired of woke stuff and Trump won and all that. Like I think it's more what you pointed out, the fact that there's just not a lot of students in college going, I want to take classes on it. Like I want to take classes for the fucking job I'm going to get. I think that's where most people's heads are at.
Yeah, and that's why the disparity between that's why I pulled it from Fox News because of course their headline is going to be, yeah, we're winning the culture war, but they that's what I like about these Fox News articles is because as you and I know, people just read the headline. They read the headline, they think they know the story, but if you click the story, Fox actually does say, yeah, there are fewer than 60 students. So the headline is what people read. Yeah, we're winning the culture war. But when you look at it, it says, no one. It's a business decision. The University of Iowa didn't give a shit. They said they're going to create a new sort of like combined. So all this shit that wasn't popular, they'll try and like instead of calculus, algebra, and some other, they just call it math. So they'll take everything and sort of bundle it. And if you still want to study it, they'll offer a. We are excited to reposition these programs for the future. The creation of a school of social and cultural analysis would allow us to build on our considerable legacy in areas that are essential to our mission. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. No one cares.
I like the idea of combining this to other departments. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
calculus sitting there going, I've taught calculus for 30 years. What do you mean? I gotta throw a chapter in about gender reassignment surgery? I don't know anything about this. God damn it, I'm a mathematician.
Yes, that's how they need to do it. Instead of creating just a different, but yes, throw it into the middle of math or history. So as you're studying World War II, you have to answer the question, and how many transgender soldiers do you think fought? You know, like
Yeah. The founding fathers wore wigs. Speaking of wearing wigs, doing a transgender studies section at the end of this.
speaking of wearing wigs, now we're gonna watch an episode of RuPaul's drag show. So to get you acquainted.
That's right. I yes, combine just sprinkle it in every single class. That's the move.
All right. Next story from the BBC. FBI finds large explosive cache on a Virginia farm. You read the story. The FBI has discovered more than 150 bombs. Brad Spafford was arrested on December 17th. The bombs were found in a bedroom and an unsecured backpack. Some were labeled "No Lives Matter." Um,
See, now this is the guy who needs the gender studies class. You know what I mean? Like he needs a sprinkle of wokeness in him. He needs to be leveled out. He needs to be equalized. I feel with these courses.
And then conversely, you take the blue-haired land whales that just scream about gender and race, and you give them take them to the shooting range.
That's right. That's right. They both spend an afternoon together. You know what I mean? They first they go to gender studies class, then they go to the shooting range. It's great.
And then and I don't know why I thought of this, but from the '70s, then they drink a Coke because I'd like to buy the world a Coke and sing in perfect harmony. But they found
You
pipe
say
bombs.
tomato, I say let's go to a shooting range and blow things
Yes.
well.
He recently sought qualifications in sniper rifle shooting at a local range. He lost three fingers on his right hand in 2021 while making a homemade explosive device. So the whole reason I'm telling you all of these things,
And he
um,
still kept going. Look at him. Oh my God.
some of them were labeled lethal. Like he said, these are lethal.
Sure.
And the backpack, no lives matter. So his lawyer then, as he's arrested, where is the quote from the lawyer? A lawyer for Mr. Spatford said on Tuesday that the government's claim he was dangerous was, quote, rank speculation and fear mongering because the suspect had no criminal record. So, whenever there is a mass shooting, they look in and they find all this shit and they say the red flags were everywhere. Well, these are a million and one red flags, but the lawyer is saying, yes, but he hasn't done anything yet. So, how dare you arrest him and hold him and question him? He was just making bombs for the fun of making bombs. Some people put little toothpick chips together inside a bottle. Some people collect baseball cards. My client just liked building bombs and leaving hashtags that say "No Lives Matter." I mean,
You guys
Jesus fuck,
building
lawyers.
bombs after losing not one, not two, but three fingers.
Three.
That's a wild fucking dude, man. That dude's a problem.
I mean, you gotta admire the passion, I guess. The
Yes,
federal judge bought
Sparkmeister on
in
YouTube
though.
said, sounds like he just needs to get laid. That's boom, right there. That is
Well, the
what
federal judge overseeing the case has ordered that he be released with electronic monitoring. because those things can't get cut off your ankle.
Dude, okay. I've said this with the incel shooters, right? The government needs to, we're spending all this money on, wars all around the world. We're sending trillions of dollars to Israel and Ukraine and stuff like that. I'm not saying we shouldn't help out an ally or whatever. Wish one of those two allies would get a little less bomb crazy. But hey, talking about a different bomber, not Netanyahu. What I'm saying, we got to spend some of that money hiring hookers to bang incels. If one hooker has sex with this guy, a school doesn't need to blow up tomorrow. You know what I mean? I think Sparkmeister is onto something. Oh yeah,
Valerie
and
agrees.
Valerie says he's probably an incel. Absolutely. I think that it can come from the private sector as well. I think we should give tax write-offs to women who bang incels. You know what I mean? Every woman that sucks off a weird dude that can't make eye contact or is missing fingers from homemade bombs,
Oh,
you
well,
only have to pay half the taxes because everybody talks about mass murder like it's a male problem. To be fair, we do like all of them, but every woman could suck a dick and save a school tomorrow, and many of them don't because A, they're monsters, but B, there's no tax incentives. I want to give tax incentives.
well,
Valerie, please bang an incel tomorrow. You're our only hope, Valerie. Find this man in Virginia and suck his dick, Valerie. Please, please.
this
You could
man in
save a
Virginia.
Virginian school tomorrow.
Two things. One, you said blow a guy that can't make eye contact. Then they're going to be blowing Asperger's guys. You're going to be blowing people with autism and Asperger's. So, I mean, that's good. Let them get some overflow.
Hey, man,
Let them get a little something.
better to give a blowjob to a guy who didn't need it than not give a blowjob to a guy that needed it. That's what I'm saying. Is
True,
I
true.
give
Brad Spatford, however, this guy, he shares the property with his wife and two young children. So maybe he still needs
Mary
to get laid. I don't
Sue.
know their duties, but yeah, he found someone to share insanity with him.
Where's Tim? He's in the basement again, making more bombs. I always tell him, I say, honey, you don't need more bombs. You lost 3 fingers, honey. And he says, always the same thing. He says, shut up, bitch. And then he smacks me with a 2 finger hand. It's
Two fingered backhand.
even really.
Well, you got a neighbor tipped off the police, so it wasn't her turning him in. So she's apparently in on it. Is part of it.
I don't know. I don't mean to make assumptions, but this woman, I know I was just making a joke about it, but I imagine a guy like this, he's not the nicest to his wife. You know what I mean? When she
I don't know.
says things like, honey, you should stop making bombs. I think it doesn't go over well.
Probably not a good dad either. All right, we're running
Right.
out of
Yeah.
time on
If
the recorded podcast, so let's hit
also,
another story.
if,
Then we can switch
if
to
he's playing
live.
catch with his son with his 2 fingered hand, you know what I mean? And he's just like,
We don't.
all right, son, have a good night. Now, daddy's going to get back to the basement. Never go down there when you hear Creedence Clearwater playing. You remember.
We don't know what fingers are gone. We don't know which two he has remaining. So
Yeah,
that's the fun part.
any of them. Yeah, the article, unfortunately, it's a terrible journalist who wrote this article.
And the BBC is usually so reliable.
That's right.
All right, the last story I want to hit before we speak. Speaking of women, let's jump to this story. A ladies' night lawsuit sent a family owned restaurant out of business. It's more common than you think. Apparently, a restaurant, or it's happened in bars, they have a ladies' night. And the logic is sound. You don't even need to read the article to know the logic is sound. You offer a discount to women. Women go to a location. Guys like women, and guys go to the location, and your business improves. Well, certain assholes, incels probably, the guys that won't talk to women, they file a discrimination lawsuit saying
Hey,
they're offering discounts to women.
and to get blown. That's what
What's
I
that?
think. I think the judge should order this man to get blown.
Well, he should, because the guy gets angry. He's like, uh, the lawsuit is because you're favoring women over men. And so he sues and said that's sex discrimination, that's gender discrimination. Hey, here's an idea, fuckface filing this lawsuit. It's 2025. Go to the bar and say you identify as a woman. It's win-win. You get a discounted drink, or if they say no, I don't believe you, then you get to sue them for whatever you sue for because they misused your pronouns. Just go say you identify as a woman and take the thing, take the discount. Why anybody that files a lawsuit like this, fuck them. Any lawyer that takes the case, fuck them.
Well, I think
The minor league team in Fresno Grizzlies got sued over a promotional event for women. My God, who these pathetic fucking Andrew Tate crybabies?
yeah, I have to think it was so this is either like a weird men's rights incel kind of thing or somebody just looking for a cash grab. I have
Yeah,
to think the first one with this because if you were looking for just a straight up cash grab, you would not be doing it with a mom and pop shop. You would be
yeah.
like, I'm going to sue Chili's. I'm going to sue them for $2 trillion for punitive damages. I'll settle out of court for 100 grand. Chili's, you could save some legal money by just giving me a check, and I'll go away.
Well, I'm guessing it's because it says San Diego lawyer Alfred Rava has filed hundreds of lawsuits across California against women's organizations and women only events. So it's this fuckface. It's one lawyer that has a small dick and can't get laid. But here's I said that the
See, no,
Fresno Grit.
I think the lawyer has a huge dick, and he fucks all the time, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf on Wall Street. He recruits small dick men as his clients, and then he pushes them on the world.
Well, he didn't respond to comment, but that when it comes to, I said the Fresno Grizzlies were sued over a promotional event for women. It was on Mother's Day. For fuck's sake, dude! They had a Mother's Day special. If you're a mom, show up and get a freebie, and he sued. They fucking lawyers, fucking assholes,
Yeah,
fucking
some
fuck
of the
everybody.
got mad at that.
Oh, all right. Where are we on the Zoom time? We got a couple minutes left, but let's sign off there and we'll go to live. I have been Nathan Timmel. NathanTimmel.com is where you can find me. I have a 1 hour special approaching 1 year. I think I've hit over 50,000 views on it. Good thumbs up on it. People enjoy it when they watch it. Unapologetic. You can link to it through my website. You can find it on my YouTube channel, t-shirt store. Go look for over 50 designs. Jake can be found at Jake Vevra on all social media, Vevra. He has his own special, Unalived by Dog Pills, which goes to with a story from his teenage years where he actually did overdose and take a little time out from life after taking dog
Alleged.
medication.
Nah,
What's
no,
that?
I did that shit for real.
He did that shit for real, and he talks about it in his comedy special on his YouTube channel.
I
All right, we're going to jump over to the live chat if anybody wants to chat with us for a second. But if you are listening to this on Spotify, then thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, there are no audio issues. And if there are, hopefully, this is the last week because Jake has moved into his new place and we'll spend this week unpacking and
yes.
hopefully hooking direct to the computer and no more audio issues. Yeah. All right.
I'll fix my audio if you guys suck at incels dick and save a school today.
Recording stopped. And we can jump over to live, which means I can do this. Ah, that's
Christ,
right. We got Germany.
I'm sleepy. I look like shit. I hate man. Now that I'm really taking a look at myself in this camera, god damn, if you guys been putting up with a monstrosity.
I got up and already played 2.5 hours of pickleball, motherfucker. Ooh, now I'm plugged into
Boom.
my good mic. Good. Hello, Germany. Dot Blau. Oh, but that says Brazil. BRZ, Brazil. I don't know. Valerie, I got bad news for you. You came in late, so we're almost done, but I'm glad you jumped on. Thanks. And good job, Jake. So she give you a little shout out.
Love you, Valerie. Check out my special.
Todd Rubel says he never thought of that. That came through when I was talking about go to a women's night and identify as a woman. That I like that. That I came up with off the spur of the moment. I didn't even plan that one out when I was reading the
Or
lawsuit
did
thing.
when I was talking about suing for ladies' night, just settling out of court. I think that's you get a little more money than just a free fucking drink. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to encourage the assholes filing these lawsuits. Fuck them.
I do. I will represent you in court because we're settling out of court.
Because you identify as a lawyer.
That's right. I identify as a lawyer. You bigots.
I might not have a degree, but All right. Well, we don't have a lot of chats, questions to answer, so we can tune out. Jake, get back. I'm glad the chaos died down, but deal with your kids, give hugs and kisses to everyone, and the people still watching, thanks for
Fuck
hanging
that.
out and joining the live stream.
My kids have been annoying me today. I'm gonna go slap them like a fucking seven-fingered Virginia bomber.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Later.